So the Fed's 50 basis points gift to Kamala. That's the subject of the riff. Yeah, 48 days before the election, looks like Fed Chair Jay Powell just gave Kamala Harris a 50 basis point gift by slashing their target rate by 0.5 of 1 percentage point. This may well put the central bank smack in the middle of presidential politics, something they pledged not to do. Now, in light of a modest decline in commodity prices and longer-term interest rates and a softening in the labor market, a 25 basis point cut would seem to be justified in economic terms with no political overtones whatsoever. But 50 basis point supercut, well, that sounds kind of like the ultra-liberal Democratic Senators Elizabeth Warren, Sheldon Whitehouse, and John Hickenlooper, who are all jawboning the Fed to lower interest rates by 75 basis points. Now, in truth, the economy is growing above the Fed's 2% growth target, while year-to-year inflation has softened to 2.5%, though it remains above the Fed's 2% inflation target. The problem has always been more of an affordability crisis, where consumer prices throughout the Biden-Harris term have increased faster than wages. The cost of living index up about 20%, weekly wages up only about 16%. So typical working families have lost about 4% in declining real wages. Now, during the Trump years, real wages rose by over 9%. Contrast that again with a 4% drop during the Biden-Harris years. In dollar terms, real wages rose roughly $6,000 for a typical family during the Trump years, nearly 5 times the roughly $1,300 increase under Biden-Harris. Many prices, groceries, gasoline, electricity, homes, insurance rates, autos, all that has increased significantly more than the 20%. Now, as the Fed's doing several years ago, when they started monetizing all the Biden-Harris federal spending excesses. And the central bank has continued to pump inflation until late 2022, when finally their argument that price hikes were temporary or transitory proved to be foolhardy and dead wrong. Now, the affordability crisis has always been the Achilles heel of discredited Bidenomics or Kamalanomics or whatever the case. By the way, that includes high borrowing costs for home mortgages, car loans, especially credit cards. These are reasons why Kamala Harris is unable to answer the simple question: are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? She couldn't answer during the debate or her one and only interview, one-on-one interview with a local Philadelphia TV station, or in her recent appearance before the National Association of Black Journalists. Can't answer it. Now, perhaps the Fed has information that the entire economy is about to collapse, and that's why they're lunging for a 50 basis point supercut. But that scenario just kind of seems unlikely. More to the point is that while Biden-Harris government spending continues to roar, the Fed is risking higher future inflation by pushing more money into the economy. Or even worse, if Kamala were elected president with her roughly $5 trillion across-the-board tax hike, that would suppress economic growth, and the Fed would continue a super cycle of monetary easing, while you'd have the classic superinflation definition of too much money chasing too few goods. Seems to me Mr. Trump has a better idea: cutting taxes, deregulating, spending restraint, and drill, baby, drill, lower oil prices, along with a stable dollar. Now, that would promote rapid growth without inflation and end the Biden-Harris affordability crisis. And that's the riff.